So once again, I'm going through a trade here on the 7th of January, which is giving me a great bias to go long this day. Very aggressive buying here. So a very strong day in again, one time framing up, very strong on the buy side. Not even looking to sell, it's just looking, having this idea to look into a pullback and kind of get the momentum on my side with buyers and really convince myself to look at the velocity of how the volume is picking up and how value has shifted on the volume profile a couple of times, and we've noticed that there's nothing that sellers are getting done, except the fact that at some point it took them like a good 45 minutes, 1 hour rotation here between 94s and 95s. A lot of absorption occurred there. It was a really good two-way trade. My goal was to leg into a trade where I can get some kind of a move back and look for pull back into this 89s. The key spot with was this 89s here. It's very convincingly. Don't want to see the sellers start getting um, aggressive below this. So let's just continue with this trade. I'm looking to scale in. What I'm looking at here is I've got 84, 88s printing here at this 90 uptick of one, not really convincing. So I'm like, let's see if we can get some buyers really aggressive, move up. The sellers can't really get the job done. This is around, we're close to noontime here. We printed 300 here at the 9025s, printing not 300 volume there, and nothing really down ticking, already convincing me that I'm on the right side of this. I'm just not getting the momentum that I want. Maybe the time of the day is also not the excellent time for to really get aggressive, but I'm willing to add, and I really don't want to see the market below this 89. Okay, so if we just put my orders in, looking for some buy momentum in this area to move it up to this area, very clear on the volume profile. These areas are very clear here. I mean, NQ hasn't really given any kind of momentum to the downside to convince me that I'm on the wrong side, or correlation wise, nothing is really getting me worried about this trade on the long side. However, 100 just printed when we got lower than 90 there. So as soon as I see that, just looking like really patiently to see if any kind of sell momentum could come in, and I might perhaps have to scratch this trade. The upticks are not very convincing, but I'm still very patient with it. Let's look at how I just legged into another three contracts at that 89 with that refreshing bids that I saw there. That was very convincing for me, and I just said, okay, let me see if I can add three and get another 2-3 tick move. That got sold, so that I was able to get through that trade. I still have three long. I'm looking to target here. What I do is generally, I'm just gonna stop this video here for 2 seconds. What I generally do is if I notice that the selling is not very strong, I'll I'll still put a sell order just to get some profits out of it. Maybe keep one or two runners. In this case, I've got three long. Put the three order here, but if I see like some decent velocity coming in, 100s, 150 volume printing here, and we're getting upticks, I would just cancel that right away and push, maybe keep one or maybe two there and try to give a runner for a nice move back into this high volume node area. So this is a very clear volume profile trade where I'm just aiming to leg into a couple of contracts and basically move it back into this area where the sellers kind of dominated once we got that absorption at this level here. So if we continue, I was very patient with this trade here because again, the context of the day was very strong on the buy side. uh, every time sellers got in, they had no momentum that was giving them any kind of juice to really take this market lower. um, so look how that 89 just moved into 100 and above, and what I did is I quickly took profits there, removed that trade, and then got back in, because now what I'm saying is I'm seeing more than 100 print with the upticks. So now we're getting some decent velocity here. You know, I'm just trying to see if I can get some kind of volume that prints above this 90 because we've been having a lot of trouble here. So this 100, 133, it's convincing. I mean, nothing really bad. I legged into another long there, moved one again, and we just can't get through this 90s. So I'm putting my sell orders. If I could get some kind of move back into this area, I'll get some profits in the book here. This was already a very good day for me. I had already, made over $100,000 in profits, I think, and sorry, I said 100,000, but I mean $1,000 in profits, and I'm I'm just losing patience here because we seem to not be able to get through this 90 with confidence. It's not convincing for me. So I've got three long here, trying to get out. If I can get some kind of a momentum, I'm gonna leg into another three lot here because I've noticed that we've got some buyer that's disguising his. And then look how we move up to 115. This is at the point where I'm gonna generally put my sell order right away, but the downticks are not strong, so I've got convincing clues here that I should still try to leg into a couple of contracts here. So at this point, I've got like six or nine down, and look at that move. We got through. I'm at $200 in profit. Uptick of one convinced me. Let's get the hell out of here. We can't get volume. We can't get any convincing on the long side here. So you see the downticks, and then I'm ready to get out. I'm just letting the market give me, a couple of more profits, and boom, that trade was not super difficult. Difficulty-wise, it was really going with the trend of the day. Once again, very clear trend up. So the 7th of January, one time framing up, not even looking to sell. Same thing on the NQ. The context is very clear that I just should just look to buy pullbacks with some kind of refreshing orders on the bids, or and clear momentum trades that I'm looking for on the volume profile. Very clear areas to do business. Really don't want the sellers to take control below the 89s. So that was a trade for January 7th.